Hey, this will be a quick little summary review of Nintendo's 3DS press conference. Overall, actually, it kind of went pretty well. There was some disappointing notes that I will get to in a moment. I do kind of like the laid-back atmosphere of the presentation, though. It sort of makes me wish that the others didn't have so much, special effects and lighting and, all that type of stuff during the main conferences. Also, I won't be using the conference stream since I really wasn't able to capture it, and really there wasn't just a whole lot there that hasn't already been seen before anyways. So mostly I'll be using trailers and so forth. Some videos may actually even be from previous year or whatever, but the first game that they went over was Castlevania Lord of Shadow Mirror of Fate. Now, this presentation, not necessarily the game, probably wins the best game presentation at any of the E3 press conferences. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about the game, though the game actually looked pretty good. I'm talking more about how the game was presented. It was actually a demo was shown, and someone was actually playing the demo, but they were going over what the character could do, how you could control it, and all that type of stuff. And that is the information that was sorely missing, has been sorely missing from the main E3 press conferences for several years. It was really refreshing because it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It showed off the game, it told you how the mechanics worked, and it didn't go too heavily into any special features or anything else. It was just, it was to the point. It was incredibly informative. As far as the game itself, it does look like a classic Castlevania game. I don't really know a whole lot about the reboots and the stories and all that stuff, but if you liked the previous, I think the Lord of Shadows is kind of a thing now, kind of like a reboot title or something like that. But if you liked a lot of the previous recent Castlevania 2D games, then this will be another must-buy for you. It looked great. No real big complaints. The next game that they didn't really show a whole lot of, just in kind of more of an extended trailer, was Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of additional information told about this game. One kind of deviant from the normal path, or from the previous Luigi's Mansion, is that they did say that you're going to be going through multiple mansions. So I don't know if that would necessarily be a plus or minus, but other than that, the gameplay and everything else looks almost identical to the original. So if you like the original, you'll like this one. The next game that got quite a bit of time was the epic Mickey Power of Illusions game, which is based off of the NES Tower of Illusion game. The presentation was actually pretty well done. Sorry for no footage. I do recommend checking out the conference when it is made available later on. Warren Spector came up, and one of the lead design guys came up, and they talked about the game, and they showed it off, some gameplay footage of it, and why it is what it is. It's a side-scrolling epic adventure game with the paint theme that was in the previous epic Mickey game. So it kind of looks interesting. I kind of would wish for it to be on console, but it is what it is. After that, Kingdom's Hearts, Dream Drop Destiny had a quick little trailer or extended trailer of the game. Didn't really show anything that I would think would have been too much of a surprise. If you like the previous Kingdom Heart games, especially on handhelds, then you're gonna like this one. They made a quick mention of the Scribblenauts Unlimited game, which looks and seems to function just about identical to the Wii U. One kind of neat feature, and I'm sure that the Wii U is going to have something similar, is the ability to share creations through your Street Pass. What I would be kind of interested to know, if since the games are very, very similar, if you can't share your creations between your 3DS and Wii U. But really, that wasn't mentioned, and nothing else was really mentioned about the game. It was more just a trailer, which oddly enough looked a lot like the trailer from Wii U. They did a quick little montage of games that really aren't that big of a deal. Lego Batman 2, Transformers Prime the game, Rapids Rumble, and Heroes of Ruin. Most of it didn't show any gameplay, and a lot of it is unknown. Like the Heroes of Ruin, it kind of looked interesting, but what little it did show didn't explain a whole lot. So, it's a montage, a quick montage. The last game that, or basically the last two games that they went through, and I was not necessarily in that order, but were the two Mario games, the Paper Mario Sticker Star and the Super Mario's 2. Now, the Paper Mario actually had a lot of stage time and a lot of actual demo, which was pretty nice to have. I think it took up a little bit more time with, from an overall presentation standpoint, but the game actually, it looks like it deviates the path a little bit more than I previously mentioned. You're not really gaining XP, so it's now loosely based an RPG. You still have your battle system and stuff like that that you had previously, but it's a little bit different. I didn't really play originals, or the other Paper Mario games, so I can't really claim if it's a betrayal or not, but it may be interesting if you liked the others. It does take it on a little bit of a different path. The Super Mario Brothers 2, it's a 2D platformer Mario game that you can actually play co-op, or as the demo showed, not so much co-op. Nothing really overly special about it, honestly. The gold flower, or the gold theme, could very easily, it seems like a tacked on thing just to have a theme for the game or something like that. So it's a 2D Mario deal that really doesn't look all that much different from the previously new Super Mario platforming. So I don't know, if you're just dying for another Mario platformer on your handheld, then I guess it'll be well worth it. If not, then it would probably be a nice little pass to have. So that was basically it. It was an hour-long conference, but just like Nintendo, they kept on going over and over and over about how they have just so much stuff to show and tell and everything that they got to get right to it, and then they spend a lot of time on semi-bad jokes and enormously long amount of time on particular games and stuff like that. So with the both the Castlevania and probably even the Paper Mario, not really so much the Paper Mario, but at least the Castlevania was just an awesome little demo. And I wished that the rest of E3's presentations actually took a cue from that. But other than that, it was really quite disappointing. There's no big surprised announcements or any talk about the Wara Wara or Miiverse, which is supposed to be coming to the 3DS. So I mean, it was a bit of a disappointment. Being somewhat of a geek and fan for the series, however, it was confirmed after the conference that Fire Emblem Awakening will be coming to the Western world. I had little doubt that it wasn't. It's a humongous seller in Japan, and I really would love to get my hands on it. But so that was kind of a nice little surprise. And I wish, again, they would mention it more into the show, but I guess whatever. And that will pretty much do it. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.
Yeah!